So, hello, everyone. You start, Anthony. Sorry.
You're fine. I'm excited to introduce Ricardo. We've been working together for several years now, and we work in similar teams inside of Red Hat. So I'll toss it over to him to introduce what he's doing here and what's going on. But I do want to welcome everyone to the Validated Pattern SIG from OpenShift Commons today, which is November 22nd. November 26th. Thank you. And over to you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Anthony. So yes, hello, my name is Ricardo Garcia. And thank you everyone for joining, watching. I'm part of the portfolio marketing team at Red Hat, and our main product are architectures, not reference architectures because they don't have that amount of detail, but they go from a high level, C-level, if you will, the standpoint, and then we dive a bit deeper into the details with the diagrams of logical components of the actual products and how they interconnect, and the networking configurations and data flow. If we don't get to the level of implementation, for that we have solution patterns and validated patterns. So that's how we complement the product, or we aim to create a whole product from very high level until the implementation. And today what I wanted to share with you all is something we have started working on, which are interactive video demos. So that's also an addition to the product. So if we have these diagrams, apart from the diagrams we create with an architecture, a blog post relating the solution, we also create slide decks, some intro videos or explanatory videos, but we have also started working on interactive video demos. And I'm going to show quickly slide just to discuss why we started doing this. Let me just share my screen or desktop. There we go. Okay. So what we found is that sometimes effective demos are not very hard, are not very easy to find. If we are talking about video demos, sometimes they tend to be very long. It's easy to disengage because after 5 or more minutes, some people say, okay, I'm tired, it's a lot of information, it's just me watching the screen, and it's a bit like not very interactive. Or even if it's an actual demo that is being conducted live, for example, a pre-sales person or that does the same demo lots of time, it's expensive because every time they need to conduct the demo, they need that infrastructure. So for example, if they need to spin up big OpenShift cluster, it will be done over and over, so that incurring costs. And also going back to the video part of the demos, if it's a recorded demo, it's not very customizable because you record it once and that's it. So that's why we started thinking about introducing these interactive video demos. So the purpose is to get more engagement from the audience. Also, something very important is like not only the technical people will be able to conduct the demos, so even the non-technical sales folks will be able to do it as well, because it will be a kind of recorded demo, but you will sell. I will show you some examples, but it's like a real demo, but without really knowing to do, needing to know what to do. It's very personal, customizable. So personalization and control are a very important outcome. Also, you can include very clear calls to action, and also in terms of whether you want to, or you're aiming users that just want to click through and not being bothered about hearing an explanation, you can do it, but also you can record voice with them. And and what we're aiming to do is to create a catalog of interactive video demos that, as I mentioned earlier, we're curating at the moment in the Red Hat Architecture Center. So this is the website I was talking about with all these architectures. So here you can filter by solution. For example, we have a platform, application platform, container management, some of the main sales plays, if you will, the content type, if you're looking for a solution architecture for these interactive video demos that I'm going to show you all, solution patterns, validated patterns, the platform on which the solutions are deployed, the vertical is relevant for, and the products that are involved. So yeah, if you just filter by interactive video demo, this is what we have at the moment, the catalog of demos that have been accepted and published here, and we're aiming for much more collaboration. This website is open to everyone, so it's not just internal to Red Hat. So our goal as well is to have as many collaborators as possible. So people who want to contribute their architectures or their interactive video demos are more than welcome. And at the end of the session, I will let you know, or I will share in the slide decks, how to contact us. And now I'm going to show you an example of these demos, just to illustrate how they work. One thing important here, you can choose when you're creating it, you can choose the, of course, the resolution, the size of the screen, but you can adapt it to a laptop, bigger screen, mobiles. So these demos work on most of the devices like really well, and they get resized properly. The software that we're using, as I mentioned earlier, is called Arcade, right? And I'll just maximize this, and you can see how we're going to go about it. So this is a demo about how to administrate or manage your OpenShift or your Kubernetes. Either doing it by yourself, this is on AWS with EKS, or with ROSA. So as you can see, this is completely click-through. So you can mix slide decks, some slides, and actual terminal, all the type of screens. So it's like you can have a very complete and very well-rounded up product. For example, you can put this, you see it's time again. This is, we need to update our Kubernetes cluster. So as you see here, we're using a screenshot of a website. Okay, we go back to slides. Now, this is very important. You can add chapters. Chapters are like choosing your own adventures, which is really cool. So you don't need to sit through the whole demo. That's one of the points I mentioned earlier, that users won't get bored as easily because they can just skip what is not interesting to them. For example, let's go to ROSA. Okay, now we have screenshot of an email. So as you see, we're mixing everything. Here's a terminal. See, right. After each steps, you can add one of these explanatory. They're called callouts with explanations. Also, not only the chapters you can skip, but also in these callouts, you can put, for example, URLs to take you to a different place and to skip as well steps, or take you to open some other asset that is outside of the video, right? And as you can see, it's pretty much like being on the hybrid cloud console, on the ROSA console. So as I mentioned earlier, if it's someone who's not technical at all, they don't really need to know what to do. They just follow the hotspots and the callouts. They just click, talk over it, and you can simulate a cluster update very easily with this. You can see schedule cluster update. You can put like messages just to engage people, so they don't lose the attention. Right, and important, the callouts and the good messages. So the one that I said right before, it said your team can focus on what matters the most, which is developing. So I think it's a good way to convey the messages that we want people to get, even more than just a video that you're narrating and saying, even saying the same things. But if they see them written there in the callouts, I think it's a pretty cool way to for these messages to stick in everybody's minds, right? And now we've finished this chapter. We could do the other part, the EKS. We can go back to the same one, start from the beginning. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. And now I'm going to show you how it works in the, how you go about building an arcade. So when you want to edit and create an arcade on one of these interactive video demos, that's what you will see. If you notice on the left-hand side, it's basically like a slide deck. It's like, so each step of the demo is just a slide. You have two types of slides, if you will. these ones that are like screenshots, and some of them that are like videos. And here you can completely customize, move those hotspots, create the callouts that we just saw, and write the message here. For example, whatever we need to do. Click on that. We can add the chapters. So as I mentioned earlier, add chapters. That's where we would put the different sections of the demo and include URLs or just the number of the step number we want to skip to. Another important thing, because in the demo that I just showed, it's only about text and callouts, as we saw, but you can add your own voice if you want. So you can, on any of these steps, you can just record your voice. It would be recording this. And you can use synthetic voiceover as well. So as you can see here on the right-hand side, there are a few folks that are the voiceovers. They are AI generated, and they have different accents and different intonations, so you can choose whoever you want. The good thing, as I said, is AI generated. So you write the script here, and if you want to modify it, if, for example, you start putting punctuation signs, and it will change the intonation, it will learn about what you're trying to achieve. So it's pretty cool, and it generates a pretty sound and credible voiceover. So this is easily maintainable, because if you want, for example, when you record a voiceover on a demo and you want to change it, it might be a pain just to have to record a long bits of it. With this functionality, you just change the script here and it will regenerate the voiceover, which is pretty convenient as well. What else? There are very other very cool things that I wanted to show you. So in terms of insights, so Arcade provides very useful insights on the usage and the viewings of your interactive video demos. So for example, if you go here, you can see views, and you can filter by the date that you want to see. And also you will even get information about the people, or at least the companies who have been watching your demos, which is very interesting as well. So if you get one of the accounts, not the trial accounts, but the actual subscriptions to Arcade, you will be able to drill down and see how many people from this company have watched it. And in that way, you can target, for example, an email campaign to get in touch with them. Also, you can add let me go back to the edit. You can add forms in between chapters. So that means that if you want to get some information about the users, you can get it here, but also just create questions and populate them, which is like you see here, multiple choice. So you can ask people so that you keep their interest as well with that. And not only that, the responses can be sent to the insights part of the Arcade that we just saw. And you can even create webhooks. So that means when a user has interacted with a form and has submitted some responses, you can receive them and get notified and do something about that. Arcade has integration with lots of other tools. And also it's important to say that you can embed your arcades in any website that accepts iframes. Because when you share them, you can, if you go to website, you can see get code, and you can get it either in HTML or React, and you can embed this as an iframe. Otherwise, you can just share it normally with a link, and you can invite other people to collaborate. So it's also a collaborative tool, and it's very easy to get a version control of it, because once you start, when you do modifications or someone is collaborating on one of your arcades, the iframe, it doesn't change. So the link remains the same. So for example, if you have embedded your arcade in one of your websites, for example, and you need to do modifications to the original arcade, they will be propagated to the website where it's embedded. So that's pretty interesting as well. And I don't know if there's something else that I wanted to tell you so far. Well, about the voiceover and the captions that you can put on the slides. You can translate them. So there's an AI translator as well. So once you've generated either the voiceover or you've created the captions in one language, you can get them translated instantly, and also you can do HTML modifications. So that means, imagine that you've been recording some website, whatever, and you want to change something on it, for example, to delete customer data, or you want to modify some data that you didn't get as you wanted, you can do it after this. So there's a function here that enables HTML editing, and you can do it after the recording, which is very good as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to show for now in terms of the actual arcade. Let me just stop sharing.
I have a question, Ricardo.
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead.
So we have, you went through on the Architecture Center site and listed out interactive video demos. Are all of those with voice, including the one that you showed earlier, or are they mostly silent?
Not all of them. There are some on the architecture side that I don't have a voiceover, and the one that I was showing doesn't have a voiceover, for example. Yeah.
Okay. Can you show us one of the examples of one of the ones that do?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's integrated with these with Google Meet to be able to hear
that. I think it should be, but
okay.
Let me just go back to this one. And
one of the things I enjoyed most is being able to change the voices, and you showed it when you were highlighting through there, so that you could have different computer voices for each section, which is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool indeed. Yep. Okay. Here you can just mute the sound and just put the captions on if you want.
Oh, that's interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for example, if you want to imagine you're at an event and you have something, these demos like looped in a monitor, and you don't want the sound on all the time, you can just put the captions on, and then you just go through them and start clicking through. Yeah.
Even from an enablement perspective for folks that have hearing issues, having those closed captions is very helpful, since it's just reading what you ask the AI to say anyway.
Yeah.
Not having to translate.
Definitely. That's one of the good things. And I think that's one of the main points that the arcade folks had in mind when they started with the project, like being like, yeah, inclusive to all type of users.
Do we have goals on how many we're expecting of these in the near term or kind of the midterm?
Yeah, so there's at the moment an initiative that Chris Morgan from Red Hat launched, and he would like to have at least 100 of this before Red Hat 1, which is happening in February. So yeah, not all of them will be living in the Red Hat Architecture Center, because these ones will be like 2 minutes more or less long, and on the Red Hat Architecture Center we have longer stuff as well. So we're going to put together or create a repository just for those demos for Red Hat 1. But yeah, I mean, quite a few of them we're expecting that will make it to the Red Hat Architecture Center as well. And we have put together some best practices. So in the slide deck that I'll just link to the agenda of the call. We have links to some of the best practices, like saying how to use the zoom, for example, because there are some effects that come with arcade by default. Like normally when you start a recording, you will zoom in and zoom out wherever your mouse is. So sometimes it can be a bit too much, and you just want to deactivate that, because otherwise it's a bit like it can make you feel a bit dizzy. So much zoom in and out. And yeah, we have quite a few best practices put together, but as I said, they're linked in the slide decks.
Is this just internal, or is this open for anyone?
So Arcade is open for anyone who wishes to get a subscription. I think there are some trial subscriptions, but normally you would contact the arcade, the company, and and you can get subscriptions from them. And in
Okay.
terms of using the video demos that we are creating, this is open to everyone. So as I said, the Red Hat Architecture Center is a public website, and they can be viewed by anyone.
And the link to that arcade demo would be arcade.software.
Yes,
is that the?
that's correct. I'll put it also in the meeting agenda, and everyone can go there. There's a pretty comprehensive knowledge base as well, where, I mean, it's not too big, but it goes straight to the point, and in an hour or so you can become an expert of arcade because it tells you all the stuff. It is very easy to use, to be honest. Yeah.
So because it's using the arcade software, anyone that wants to review or watch the ones that we've created is free. But if you wanted to create your own, you'd have to go through the arcade folks to get your own contract.
That's correct. Okay. As I said, I think there are free trial versions, but are quite limited in terms of, for example, all the HTML modification, or even the what is it? No webhooks, for example. The synthetic voiceover, I think, is not activated either. So yeah, it's pretty limited, but you can start playing with it and see if you like it, and then maybe think about getting some licenses.
Awesome.
Let me check if there was some other point that I wanted to show. And because there's webhooks, yeah, personalization, translation, collaborative insights. Yeah, that's pretty much it, just to start with and to get folks maybe hopefully interested. Because as I said, the goal is to have everyone who decides to submit a solution to send it to us and work together.
I know from the validated pattern side, we are really excited about this, as it allows for people to experience different use cases and connections while not needing the computing resources to demo it yourself. You can see how you go through, how do you install a pattern? Let's show you how to do it. It takes you through the steps. You see the command line. You can go to a web browser and bounce back and forth, as well as an interactive slide to showcase the work. But all of that time, you're doing it on your computer rather than needing a server to do it yourself. You get to experience everything, as well as then you can take that back. You want to do the installation and you have a server. Well, let's just follow along as it's going through the process. So this to me is a great way to highlight and record a set of instructions and demos for the different capabilities we have. So I'm super excited for our team to start to engage and do these demos moving forward. I appreciate you coming on and talking through this, Ricardo.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. And yeah, as you said, it is like if everyone wants to deploy a pattern, they need lots of resources. So this is not like a recorded demo, as we said. Is until you don't click the call out or the red button, it will go through. So you're making sure that the person demoing is or at least is getting the gist of it and what needs to be done. It's just they're not doing it really in the server, but it's like they were doing it, so they're gonna learn at the same time. I think it's pretty useful.
Plus, you get that really cool computer voice.
Yeah, that's cool as well. And it's fun to play with. Yeah.
Yes, it seems awesome. It seems like you can handle almost any type of complexity, which is great.
Yeah, it is. And as you've seen, you can mix and match and console, like OpenShift console, like terminals, whatever you want. There are two versions or two ways of interacting with it. There's a plugin for Chrome or Chromium-based browsers, and you can also have the desktop app. They have slightly different interface, not interface, but maybe the user the GUI, because if you're using the desktop app, it will show by default the not the top of your actual browser, because it won't show your bookmarks or anything, but it will show that you're using, for example, Chrome, or you're using a Safari or whatever. Whereas with the Chrome plugin, it doesn't show anything but the actual screen that you're recording. For example, the hybrid cloud console, whatever.
I know one thing that we've talked about as well is these are living demos. So if you want to change the way that it shows on the screen or interact, as long as you have created in the system and you have permissions, you can go and edit a demo someone else has done to add in a slide that explains something or a section that that you want to include to highlight. So that these demos are recorded and they're kept on the server, which is why you need to have an active internet connection to play those arcade demos. But that also means that you can do a little editing without having to redo the whole thing over again, which is, to me, someone that makes a lot of mistakes, especially during demos, is a very strong point. That you don't have to be perfect as you're going through your command line. You can just come back and forth and add in a new section as you need it.
Yeah, that saves you lots of time. I've already proven it. And at the end of the day, it's just like slides. Like you've all seen, like you put another slide and move it around and whatever. So it's super easy, super easy. If you want, you can export it to video formats as well. Just for example, if you want to lose all this interactivity and just make a normal video. But yeah, that kind of defeats the point of having the interactive video demos. But yes, it's possible as well.
This is also not a Red Hat product. We're not getting paid for talking about it. This is just a partner that we're working on or working with, which is why we're just excited about using their solutions and wanted to highlight the fact that you're going to see more of these in the coming months and years. And it is a way to record things like a summit session, a presentation, so that you don't need to worry about if the internet fails. You could even have a downloaded version of this. But if you're looking for that interactive nature that you're going and clicking from section to section and seeing everything, now it's all as a backup in case things go wrong in the middle of your live presentation. So this is why I'm excited about it.
Yeah, with Red Hat One and Summit coming up. Yeah, I think it would be, or hopefully they will be really used.
Doing any final questions?
Well, I think if faculty could use it to give an exam, I mean, it seems like it's only a couple steps away from that, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Seems very interesting, and they've been very responsive to us for use cases. So if this is something you're looking to leverage for your projects, they might be equally interested in the use cases and how to work with you to engage in a educational environment.
Yeah, that would be great because I am getting ready for Red Hat Summit. So I think we'll definitely contact them because I think we can definitely utilize it.
Oh, that's great, and they'll be really happy to work with you, Dwayne, I'm sure. And as Anthony said, they're really, really responsive and they have an amazing team. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, with that, thank you so much, Ricardo, for putting on the presentation, showing us how these demos work, and the kind of enticing us to look forward to seeing more of them on the webpage as we go forward.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.